Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. So we saw verse, let's see what the English translation of verse 7. In verse 7, he was talking about the subtle body, that where does he go? And we were right before we had the class, we were having discussion about, how much time it takes to take rebirth and all. And I was just saying it could be different for different people. Time changes when you are in a different realm. And at that highest realm, there is no time anyway. It's not a time-space causation thing. But anyway, so the last verse is said, some souls enter the womb to have a body. Others go to the plants just according to their work and according to their knowledge. So what did it mean? That, he pointed out, they call it Jiva Gati, means the kahan jata hai wo, subtle. It goes according to the karma and according to the knowledge. And they call it Yatha Karma Yatha Shrutam. That's what it meant. So, because according to our knowledge only we will do our action. So you can look at it that way too. So, now what he's doing over here, he's coming back to the main subject again. And the reason that was told, because everybody has that question. Okay, we are that Paramatma, but we are through this transmigration. I want to know the details about it. And, when Sneha was talking about that tree that in Bhagavad Gita, that's exactly why Krishna Bhagavan brought that whole cosmos. Try to understand what the whole cosmos is, then try to transcend it. Because if we don't understand it, we have doubts and questions. Why this, why that? So सब satisfy करने के लिए हाँ समझो सब कुछ. Prakriti kya hai, Maya kya hai, but then transcend it. So the same way over here that he told about what happens to the jiva, where does it go, how does it go? So he explained that. And now he's coming back to the original main theme, which is like, Sanatan Brahma, or that consciousness is coming back to. Because what Tejo Menanji was saying, that even after hearing everything, like Krishna Bhagavan ne bhi bata diya, like we saw, how plainly he said that you are misguided, God is man, right? But he still hears so many divergent views. अद्वैती के पास बैठ जाओगे ना, वो ऐसे ऐसे दलीलें देगा, ऐसे ऐसे कहेगा कि तुम्हारा फिर से माइंड हिल जाएगा. That is it, does it. So because of that, he has to again and again give examples in such a way that it sinks into us deeper and deeper. Because our mind gets confused when we see all these different views. And then he's saying that when we are in the body, it is difficult for us to look at that Atma as same in everybody. Because हम लोग को immediately लगता है कि नहीं सबकी अलग अलग होगी. Right? They doubt ऐसे आता है. Because our identification is so deep with our bodies that it is, even though we may intellectually know, फिर भी कहीं से doubt घुस जाएगा and all that. So he's giving you some more tips. So talking about Bhagavad Gita also, in chapter 13 he very clearly said that he called it knower and the field and the knower of the field, and he said knower is one. So you can knower is that consciousness, but very hard for us to sink in. So looking at that way, that confusion, what Dharmaraj is doing is bringing our attention back again, and he started this verse 8. So let's see what it says. So this cannot be chanted, especially the first line cannot be chanted like this. I'm going to read it. Ya esha supteshu jagrati kamam purusho nirmimanaha tadeva shukram tada brahma tadevamrutam uchyate tasmin lokaha shritaha sarve tadu natyeti kaschana etad vaitad. So it's a very long one, but let's see. Ya is who? Esha, this. Supteshu, while we are asleep, when we are sleeping. Jagrati remains awake. So these are Hindi words we can. Kamam means different objects of desire that we have in the world. Purusha, and here Purusha means he's not talking about man or woman, that kind of Purusha. He's talking about that ultimate. Purusha is referred to as Ishvara, you can say. Nirmimanaha, shaping, nirman karna जिसको बोलते हैं, किसी चीज को बनाना. Tat is that, Eva is verily, Shukram, pure. That's what it means. Tata is that. Brahma, we already know, Brahman. Tadeva is that also. Amritam, immortal. Uchyate, it is called. So it's called Shukram. That's what he's saying. Tata is that. Evam is verily again. Tasmin, in that. Lokaha. And there is a very deeper meaning. When they say, ye lok, wo lok, swarg lok, ऐसे हम लोग refer करते हैं ना. But यहाँ पर loka का meaning है all the experiences. And we'll see when we see the meaning. The worlds, यहाँ पर लिखा हुआ है. Shrita is rest. इसमें विश्राम करना kind of. और जिसको आधार बोलते हैं. We'll see that again these words are very hard time just giving an English word, but when we see the meaning you will understand what they mean. Sarve is all, tata is that, verily, u is verily, atyeti transcends. उससे परे चले जाना kind of. Na kaschan, none. Etad is this way. Verily, tat is that. Many different words. It's okay, we don't have to go so much about the words, but it's good to see if there's some kind of a common thing in there. So what he's talking about here is, and I'll bring out Tejobayanji's points and then read Swamiji's commentary, that he's talking about what is a real truth, absolute truth. That's what is this mantra is bringing our attention back to it, to that consciousness. So he's talking about that this word is used Purusha. That ultimate Chaitanya Tattva is mentioned as Purusha over here. So this Purusha is saying keeps awake because they say Jagrati. When we sleep, that Purusha is awake. That's how this verse is telling you. What did he mean by that? So he's saying that go back to Mandukya, whoever was here, they were talking about 3 different states. Waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. So by stages you go deeper and deeper. So now we are all awake, hopefully, huh? Nobody's gone to sleep. And then the second stage is, or one of the stages, when we fall asleep, the sleep can be divided into 2. Even the modern people say that, dreaming state is different and when you are deep sleep is different. Because dreaming state pe our eye balls keep moving and all that, right? We are seeing something. So he's saying that when we are sleeping, in both the states, the sense organs and the bodies are inactive. That everybody agrees, right? That it is the body and sense organ. We are not seeing anything outside world. So sense organs are all folded kind of in their own place. And bodies, we are laying there, and we are not moving. So both of them are not there. So the physical body is kind of not active. But when we are dreaming, then we have not gone in the deep sleep yet. So the mind has not folded. When we go in the deep sleep, body, sense organ, mind, everything folds and then the Purusha is still awake over there. That's a different story. But he's in this verse, he's focusing more on the dream state. Okay, so senses are withdrawn, but still we have desires in our mind. Kamam refers to different objects of desire. And where have they come from? They have come from our deep impressions. Whatever we have seen, कोई advertisement बार देखो ना, तो वो याद हो जाता है. सपने में भी आता है फिर, So वहाँ पर क्या हो रहा है? निर्माण हो रहा है सपने का. निर्माण की बात कर रहे हैं ना, वो पुरुषा and connected with Purusha. What is being created over here? These desired objects. And whatever we remember are the impressions, they are not from one day. It's entire life, bachpan se. And what they are talking about, the saints and sages, is not even this life. We are from previous lives. Tabhi, in this life, suddenly we see something and we get attracted, another person is not attracted to it at all. Have you seen that? Because the impression, and we may be brothers and sisters. We have the same genes, we have the same environment. In बचपन में we eat the same food. हम लोग को सेम डांट भी मिलती है, सेम प्यार भी मिलता है दोनों से, but we are still different because of the impressions coming from because one gets attracted to one kind of thing, another one. So basically those impressions are there, and in that sleep state, when we are dreaming, those impressions come up, and the way you can look at it, whatever I have smelled, heard, tasted, touched, or imagined, only that is not restricted to what I have seen. Picture देखने से भी हम लोग को impression बनता है. Lot of new things, I may not have experienced it myself, but I see the picture or get the knowledge from the news or something, that can create impressions too. So that also is included in this. All this, these impressions are sitting in our mind, and something gets projected from there. Hodgepodge karke. And he's saying that we have to think, how is this getting projected? What is the source behind it? It's like, okay, my computer is working, electricity is flowing, that's why it's working. So when I'm sleeping, something is still active, that's why it is working. That's how you have to look at it. So that active is that Purusha. And in the light of that Purusha, you are seeing this projection. Because somebody was saying, when we are deep sleep and we see the dream, sunlight is not there, moonlight is not there, room light is not there because eyes are closed. In which light we are seeing the dream? That question should come to us. He's saying that light of that consciousness, and he's saying that what you see, you don't know, because it's a little hodgepodge. So some people say, how did it happen? And he's saying that our teacher used to explain, because sabhi ko bada confusion hota tha ki ye, how come we don't have a control over the dream and this and that? So our teacher gave that explanation. I don't know whether you will connect to it, but see. She said, your mind is kind of not fully active, it's a little tired. So when it's not fully, तो इधर से थोड़ा लिया, इधर से थोड़ा लिया, उधर से लिया और कुछ बना दिया. Okay, that's what happened. So actually Tejoman, and he said one time Gurudev was, किसी ने आके ना अपना dream बताया Gurudev को, and it was so bizarre. He said that this fellow saw an elephant wearing a skirt and a high heel knocking at his door. So he said, ये कैसे हो सकता है? So he said, no, okay, forget about that. You know what is elephant? कभी देखा होगा zoo में, या इंडिया में तो वैसे ही दिख जाते हैं हजारों elephant. And if you go to south and all that small towns. And then he said, you have seen a woman with a skirt. You have seen the high heels. That's all. You have seen 3 different things, 3 different places, but all got mixed up together. Elephant. So Tejomananji is actually Maharashtrian. So he said in Marathi saying, mani vase swapne dise. Jo man mein basta na, wo sapne mein dikhai de jata hai. So, lekin hodgepodge dhang se. So he's saying that this dream actually is created by that power of that Purusha, or that consciousness, and actually that Purusha is totally pure. That Shukram word that is used over here. So even though the Purusha is completely pure, it can create all different kinds of things. And you don't even have to go as far as dream. You look at the sunlight. Sunlight is pure. But how many different things it can create? Images and this and that and variation. Sunlight never gets contaminated. We cannot contaminate sunlight. But it can give all different things to it. So that's what he was talking about, that how this happens. So tad evam amrutam uchyate, that is called immortal, truth. When there are a couple of different words. Shukram, it is pure, and the same one is that immortal truth. That's uski light mein ye sab hota hai. And the last part is saying in this verse that everything in the cosmos is centered only in it. Okay? No one can go beyond that. When it says natyati kaschana, means usse pare koi nahi ja sakta. Now come back to this example of ocean, and we'll come back to the example of snake and the rope. Can the waves get away from the ocean? We talked about it. You cannot. If it gets away, it's not an ocean. It's not a wave anymore. Same way, all of us, everything in the universe, everything in the cosmos is within it, and nothing can transcend it. And you can look at it, gold ornaments. Somebody says, I want my earring, but I don't want gold. Then it's not going to be gold ornament anymore. The moment you take gold away, everything is gone. So that's why you cannot transcend it. See what I'm saying? Let's go back to the example of snake and the rope. We are seeing the snake because of the rope. If there was no rope, the snake will never be there. So that's why the snake can never transcend the rope. You see that, what it means? It's a little technical thing, but उसी में उसका अस्तित्व है, हिंदी में जैसे बोलेंगे हम लोग. That's what they are trying to tell. It's just not possible to get away from it. So किसी ने बोला कि this is like a दृष्टांत, हाँ, इसे भगवान सब कुछ कर सकते हैं. हम लोग ऐसे बोलते हैं ना, राजा को रंक बना दिया, रंग को राजा बना दिया, और ये वो जो भी है, हाँ, वो एक काम भगवान भी नहीं कर सकता. Take away God from us in our essence, he cannot do that. So there is one thing that even God cannot do. Somebody said that was interesting. So now coming back to that, who created the dream? You can say, okay, my mind created, but who powered the mind? That's where the whole thing is. Our mind is powered by that Brahman. And then he's bringing us back to that, okay, that mind or that jiva is ultimately in essence is what? The same Brahman. And we saw that in Bhagavad Gita. It's going side by side. We saw the whole thing. That is one only, right? So here Tejomayanandi says Chaitanya Brahmvit Upadhi is called the jiva, or like the famous thing that Meeraji liked, misguided God is man. Okay, same thing he's telling in a different language. So he's saying that because the mind is conscious with that Purusha still, that's why it is projecting it. And so without Brahman, the existence of mind is not there. Forget about the body, forget about the senses and its perception. Mind bhi nahi hoega. Because in Vedanta, mind is supposed to be, pehle aayega mind, fir aati body. Because the mind is the one, mind and intellect goes, a jiva, which goes into another life. So that's why this hierarchy is there. And one issue he wanted to bring, because I think there's a little bit confusion sometime among people, and Tejomayanji brought that up, and I will bring that up, whatever he said. He said that some people start thinking that that consciousness or God is an energy. But in Vedanta, they don't say like that at all. It is not, according to Vedanta. Consciousness is separate from the energy. It manifests as life in our body, and our bodies have many energies, you can say. But that energy ko life deta hai consciousness. So matter, energy, both are inert in Vedanta. Because even in the science, they say, no, matter turns into energy, energy turns into matter, right? Everybody's heard that, even though I'm not a scientist, but that much little bit I know. That they say that you cannot destroy matter, it turns into energy, energy turns into matter. So, but both are inert. And that's why mind is also called inert. It's a sukshma sharira, they call it. Usko bhi sharir hi bola gaya hai. Sukshma sharir. So that distinction we should remember if we are a student of Vedanta, that, Atma is separate from it. And in that light of consciousness, mind will manifest. That's why we brought that up. Don't call it an energy, it's consciousness. So the other words he used to make us understand, Tejomayananji, that Chaitanya or that consciousness is the substratum. Hindi mein bolenge Aadhar and Ashraya. When he was talking about you cannot transcend that, वो उसका basis है, and in which everything exists. When God says everything exists in me, that's what he means by that. It is the basis. And then the word loka I was talking to you about. The word they use, that no loka can exist without it. And here loka means everything is indicated in it. Entire cosmos, all the objects, everybody, everything together is called loka over here. That all the lokas are centered in it. And he's saying aitad vaitad. So this factor they are talking about is the same one, that you are asked for, Nachiketa had asked for. So this is what it's talking about. Let's see if there are one or two other things that Swamiji was saying. He's saying that people, they are talking about the dream is projected by that Chaitanya and all that. लोग है ना भूल जाते हैं वो चैतन्य को और ड्रीम को एनालाइज करना शुरू कर देते हैं. I want to know कि ये ड्रीम में क्या हुआ, क्यों आया मुझे ड्रीम, ये वो. saying that क्या करेंगे लोग, all the sages and all, वो लोग चिल्ला रहे हैं उत्थित जागृत, like we saw that those words were used over here. Wake up, get up and wake up. So he's saying, Swamiji said, लोग बोलेंगे हाँ उठेंगे जल्दी क्या है. Means they don't want to think about this consciousness. And here through Nachiketa, the Dharmaraj is bringing us back to it. He was just saying. And then he's saying that itna sab sunne ke baad bhi somebody will come and put a doubt on you, or the doubt will start rising. So Dharmaraj also knows this. So he's going to give another example, that how can this same Atman appear as different. That will be the next verse. So even the saints, sages and Dharmaraj does not give up, because they know human mind. कि सब कुछ बोलने के बाद भी वो लोग बोलेंगे yeah but, so that उस but को वो लोग clear करेंगे in the next one. Okay. So this was this. You see how it was complementary to what we saw? Yeah. Any question, comment?
Only one question. When you are in deep sleep, Purusha is still there.
Yes. So that was the Mandukya, and I didn't bring that. I should have brought that. You are absolutely right. And Swamiji, when we read the commentary, he's going to mention that.
Because once Purusha is gone, you are gone.
Yes. The connection with the Purusha is gone, you are gone. That's why what holds us in deep sleep? Right? It's that Purusha which is holding us in that deep sleep. Because the connection is still there. And the moment that connection is broken, why connection is broken? The mind separates from the body. Mind is the one that is Chaitanya. That's why the body starts deteriorating. When somebody dies, I'm talking about. But until we are alive, our body is also fine. So you are absolutely right. That's why if you go back to Mandukya, it said 3 different states, and the Turiya is the 4th meaning, substratum of all. It doesn't mean the 4th state, but it is a state which is common in all, and that is the one holds it. It's a substratum. True. I think we don't have time today to read Swamiji's commentary because it's a longer one, and he will address all those issues in there, because he'll bring the Sar of Mandukya there. So whoever has not done it, we will get, once we do that verse, we'll get what Mandukya talks about.
When you talked about Purusha Prakriti, we talk about the matter and energy, right? Energy, Purusha, energy, Prakriti.
Actually, it is not, that's not the correct translation. It is spirit and matter. When we do our chapter 13, that's how Swamiji has, he doesn't call it energy and matter. Because energy and matter comes under the same category.
Yeah, they do come. That's what I was saying. So Brahman is, that's what my question was. Then Brahman is above the Purusha and Prakriti, because we try to explain the creation with Purusha Prakriti, right? The creation is with Brahman or that in the Maya. And then we explain the creation.
True, you can take it that way, that you can come one step down and call it Purusha and Prakriti, and our consciousness is about that. But when he's talking about Purusha, in this context, he's referring to that consciousness. Because they can use the same term, it can have a slightly different meaning.
Right. You can, okay.
Yeah, but over there also we are careful about that, because when it comes to chapter 13, he asked that question that, hey, can you, Arjun asked that, what is Purusha and what is Prakriti, right? So the way Swamiji translated it is in the spirit and matter, rather than saying energy and matter.
Okay.
So just remember that, yeah. Any other question, comment? Okay. So I can close over here. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukha bhag bhavet. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.